The following podcast is for mature listeners. Although looked at in a light-hearted manner, some content may be graphic or gruesome. Also, due to the host's complete lack of maturity, those easily offended will probably be offended. Hold on to your butts.
Got a bite to it.
What is that? What is that?
The bourbon I'm drinking, it's good. Didn't cut it with anything. All right, yeah.
Actually, I'm drinking an Oktoberfest by Samuel Adams.
Ooh,
getting me in the Halloween spirit.
Feeling festive. I like it.
I should have got some kind of pumpkin beer, but fuck it, it's too late for that now. Okay, so this is the Halloween special. And we're doing it different. We don't have like one main topic for this episode. Jake brought something he wanted to talk about. I have a little story here that I think will be cool to talk about, and then it's gonna be a lot of fuckery, a lot of Halloween fuckery.
Yeah, I like that little couple tricks and some treats for that ass.
All right, Jake, you said you got something good, so all right, kick it off. Let's hear what you got.
So let's sit back and let's time travel for a little bit here.
Right. Get the fire going.
The year
Stoke
is 1981.
All right.
You know, we're in the finer parts of New York. It's the wee hours of Halloween.
The finer parts of now, if I remember correctly, New York was way, way worse in 1981.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it wasn't Times Square just like fucking hookers and
just crack. It's like somebody just
right.
It's like Tinkerbell just sprinkled crack dust over the entire state. It was pretty awful.
New York's the one place that was worse in the 80s. Everywhere else was better. It was a better, peaceful, magical time. The 80s,
very industrious everywhere else other than New York. So this couple, Ronald Sisman, who's 39. And his girlfriend, Elizabeth Platzman, age 20. I don't even want to talk about the age difference there.
Damn, that's this guy's killing it, right?
My man's crushing some young puss. Good for him.
All right, good for him.
Go home after a Halloween party.
Okay.
Found murdered the next day.
Whoa.
Brutally.
They got tricked.
Yeah.
They didn't treat.
Oh, no. No treats today, boys. So they were brutally beaten. And then both shot in the head, execution style. And their apartment that they lived in Greenwich, New York, was ransacked.
I think it's pronounced Greenwich.
Greenwich. I'm not really good. I can't read so good.
Greenwich.
Well, their apartment was ransacked. And a lot of police believed that there was foul play. They believed that there was a lot of drug involvement.
You think there was? Oh, they think there was foul play.
There was foul play
in a fucking double execution.
Yeah, no big deal. Like that's.
I thought it was natural causes.
Yeah. So now the New York State Police Department believed this because local actress Melanie Haller told the New York police, because she was affiliated with this Ronald Sisman character, that he tried to force drugs on her at one point. So they believe that
Sisman.
This guy. Just trying to shove the drugs up your nose. So they believe.
What was the actress's name?
Melanie Haller.
All right.
So yeah, the New York Police Department believed that this might have been like some sort of like drug transaction that has gone awry. Well, this is where things started to get a little weird. Police were kind of just trying to piece things together, figure out what the hell was actually going on here. There is actually a prison informant that leaked information to the New York Police Department as to who may have been behind this murder. Double murder, actually.
Was it Melanie Haller?
It was not. The informant stated that he had heard about the crime weeks prior to it happening from none other than New York's own David Berkowitz.
Whoa!
Now, for those who don't know who David Berkowitz is, he is the son of Sam.
The son of Sam. The Summer of Sam.
With the Summer of Sam, which there's a movie based upon it, like all the murders, they used to call him Mr. Monster. Now.
So is this like right in the midst of his fucking killing spree?
It's not. So
okay.
these all occurred in 1981. Berkowitz was actually apprehended and arrested in 1977, 4 years prior to this happening. Now, what I didn't mention is that Ronald Sisman was actually running 2 photography companies out of their apartment.
Wait, hold on, time out. Can we back up for a second?
Yeah, let's pause.
I was Googling Melanie Howler to see if she's from Welcome Back, Kotter, and The French Connection are her roles, but
Claims
more
to
notably,
fame.
she appeared in Playboy in 1980. Did you say that the informant blamed Berkowitz for the killings, or
No.
the informant was Berkowitz?
No, there was a guy that they, quote-unquote, would not name, said he heard from Berkowitz that this crime was going to happen weeks prior to it actually happening.
Oh, so at this time, Berkowitz is already in the slammer.
He's been in the slammer for 4 years.
Okay. So he's not a suspect.
Not a suspect per se.
Right.
So, like I was saying, Berkowitz told the informant that he was part of a demonic cult that was going to perform a ritual murder in a photographer's apartment. Now, like I just mentioned, that Sisman was actually running 2 photography companies out of his apartment. And like I said, like you had mentioned, Haller was posed for Playboy, so that might have something to do with it.
Okay.
So Berkowitz stated that the photographer the cult intended to murder had evidence of the Son of Sam murder. So he said Berkowitz believed that Sisman had photos of Berkowitz murdering people, and he was going to turn it over to the police as leverage. So because there was a lot of that Son of Sam stuff. They said there was like a drug charge and stuff like that, as opposed to him just being like a flat out like a grisly murder.
Right.
So Berkowitz is saying 4 weeks prior to this guy even being murdered, that the demonic cult that he was a part of was going to go and murder this guy on Halloween.
This is the same one that Kevin Sullivan was part of?
Has to be. To be.
You like that callback?
I do enjoy that. So,
see, listen, we have to do the callbacks because then these fucks feel obligated to go back and listen to the prior episodes. Because if not, you're out on the jokes, right?
This is true.
This is a technique. This is how we remain relevant.
And
when I say these fucks, I mean our wonderful listeners who we appreciate very much.
Now,
rate and review down below.
Like and subscribe.
Yes.
Now, what a lot of people don't understand about Berkowitz is that he was batshit crazy.
Yeah, I understood that. I thought that was what most people did understand about Berkowitz.
Well, a lot of people don't understand that, like, he was crazy and he was just murdering people, in the summer of, was it 76, 7 or 77?
Yeah. We're going to have to get in. We're going to have to do an episode on him because he's
go in depth
fascinating.
Because he also, said he was under the demonic control of his neighbor's dog, Harvey, who was telling him to murder these people. But that's a story. Whoa. That's a story for another day. So
I want to continue with your thing.
Okay.
But remind me that I had a thing I wanted to talk about.
Sure.
About being controlled by dogs.
All right. Is this going to be? Okay. Is this going to lead us into like a Baja Men who let the dogs out scenario? Because I have a lot of questions that I really need to ask.
Only if you let it, Jake.
Yeah.
Only if you let it.
Okay.
Okay, keep going.
So to kind of just wrap it all up, their murder has never been solved by the New York State Police Department, and there was not enough evidence to put any type of thumb down on Berkowitz while he was already apprehended and in jail. So Berkowitz remains he's still alive, which I did not know. I didn't know that either. He's serving 6 consecutive life sentences for all the murders that occurred. And like I said, Sisman and Platzman have yet to have their murder case solved. So I think it was kind of weird that, there's like all this demonic cult talk involved in their murder. And somehow Berkowitz knew about it weeks prior to even happening. So,
and it happened on Halloween.
And that's why I thought it was kind of interesting.
It's very interesting. Is it has it been proven that Berkowitz was actually part of some kind of demonic cult? Like, is that Did that ever come up in any of the investigations?
No, unfortunately, it did not. I would like that'll probably have to be something we do a little bit more digging on when we decide to do an actual episode on Berkowitz, because I was just dabbling into his stuff, and there is just a treasure trove of things that we can talk about. So, but that's what I had for you. I just thought it was kind of cool. It'd be a cool little Halloween spooky story about people getting execution style murdered in their apartment on Halloween.
Yeah, and we get a little Berkowitz talk.
Who doesn't love just a taste?
A little pre-Berkowitz episode Berkowitz.
Just give me a taste. That's all I want.
Okay, so you reminded me when you told that story, and it's funny because it actually fits in with this whole Halloween theme. I want to tell you about the woman who used to live next door to me when I was growing up. So the woman who lived directly next to my grandmother growing up, her name was Jean. Right, I don't know what her last name was, but she was like...
Was it Okerlund? Was it Mean Jean Okerlund?
Mean Jean. She definitely was mean, and her name was Jean.
That's amazing.
But she didn't have a mustache, and she wasn't bald. So,
okay.
But she was like, you know, that one person in the neighborhood where the kids are like, you know, there's dead bodies in the basement, right?
100%.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So she was that person. Where usually those stories that the kids are making up are fueled just by that person like looking kind of creepy or being kind of off. This woman was actually batshit crazy. There was an instance around Christmas when she didn't take her medicine and she was out in the streets completely fucking naked. With nothing
but cats.
Except
nothing but cats on her.
She had a Christmas wreath, like one of those circle wreaths you would hang on your door around her neck. That's it. And she was singing Christmas carols in the fucking
and then she
middle of the street.
She was playing Jingle Bells by like jostling her old lady boobs, and she had Holly right above her.
Little nipple tassels.
Oh, that's foul. And then she had
you're making this a little more erotic than I wanted it to be, Jake.
I'm in that rude mood right now. She had the mistletoe above her moose knuckle. It was real gross.
Well, she was like a very, very old lady. So, if you're getting any pleasure out of these descriptions, don't. There was another time that she came to my grandmother's yard, set up a lawn chair, and picked, like, you know the little yellow... What are those flowers called? I'm not a fucking flowerologist.
Botanist, you mean?
Uh-huh.
A botanist?
A botanist.
Botiste. You talking about dandelions?
Yeah, I think so. She came and picked them all. And then laid out in a lawn chair on my grandmother's lawn. But one of the craziest things she did was we caught her talking to my dog growing up. We came out back and we caught her kneeling next to our chain link fence with a paper, and she was reading off this paper to our dog. And what the paper was a recipe for soup.
All right. So did she think she was on the cooking channel? Was she there with Gordon
Ramsay? I don't know where she thought she was ever. I mean, this lady was fucking out there.
On today's show, we're going to make a nice gazpacho.
But one of the other funny things about her was on Halloween, she gave out Bibles. Little pocket-sized.
It's because y'all motherfuckers need Jesus.
We did need Jesus. And... we knew we were going to get a Bible, but we still went there because her floor, she had tiled in books, hardcover books. So when she opened the door to give you the little pocket Bible, you could sneak a peek in and see her fucked up floor that she just took a shitload of books and Tetrised them into place so that the entire floor of the house was covered in
pick a book up off the floor, like out of the floor, and like, oh, I want to read War and Peace today. Like, meh.
You could. I doubt she would use War and Peace. That was going to be a lot thicker than all the other books.
Yes. Maybe
you kind of want a level playing field.
Maybe it was just filled with Goosebumps books.
See, that would work. I feel like all the Goosebumps books were generally the same length.
They're all about 200 to 250 pages a pop. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Jean, the creepy neighbor who talked to our dog and read our rabbit stew recipe.
Did she think that maybe, and she obviously was not married.
Chick, I don't know what the fuck she was thinking. She was singing Christmas carols naked with a wreath around her neck. I can't get in the mind of these psychos.
She loves Jesus.
She did love Jesus. She's
out here
for sure,
ripping out Bibles for Halloween.
She loves showing off what Jesus gave her.
Shucking and jiving, ass naked for Jesus on Christmas. Books just covered her floor. It's probably like, what if it was like Encyclopedia Britannica? Like, learn something, you bitch.
I mean, that's probably the best use you can get out of it today.
Step on
She also used to call the cops on us for playing basketball too loud. The dribbling.
Quit slamming that crazy
ball. And one time she got beat up by my mom because
wait.
My wild ass mom. Well, actually,
one time my mom done whooped this bitch's ass.
It all goes back to the basketball thing. We were out playing basketball. She comes out giving us trouble. At this point, the cops, I think, had stopped coming because she called them so often.
Yeah, they're like, all right, calm down, Gene. They're just playing basketball.
So she came out and was giving us grief. And my mom comes out and she said something along the lines of talking about my little brother Mike. She said, if they don't stop dribbling the basketball or something, I'm going to have to kick his little ass. Something like that.
So like an idle threat.
Yeah, and my mom, she wasn't into the idol. She fucking went ballistic. Chased her across the street, tackled her in the yard across the street from our house.
She went straight up Roadhouse on her.
Yeah, it was wild, man.
Took that bitch to the double deuce. I like it.
She gave her what was coming to her. But yeah, that's Gene. All right, let me get to the little story I found.
Yeah, let's keep it the spooky going on.
Let's keep it spooky. Okay. 1988, right?
I'm 3 years old.
Back in the 80s, I'm 3 years old as well.
Yeah.
Greenfield, Massachusetts.
Okay.
There's a man by the name of Mark Branch. And Mark Branch, at this time, is nothing more than a lowly grocery store clerk. But he has a real passion. He has an obsession.
Ooh. Finger painting.
Mark Branch is obsessed with horror movies, Jake.
Ooh, okay. Hey, I tell you what, some of the best horror movies ever were made in the 80s.
Oh, yeah. Still, to this day,
they hold up. 30 years later, they're still fantastic.
So Mark, I guess near the grocery store he worked at, there was a video rental facility, a relic of the past.
I was like, R.I.P. I'm like throwing up like a sign to Jesus because I miss myself a good Blockbuster.
Oh, me too. I really do. And even, I mean, we were Blockbuster people, but even going into those like knockoff, like
Hollywood Video.
Yeah, I mean, there was something charming about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It almost felt as good as being at the movies, but having like a whole wall of movies to pick from. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, my grandmother would take us every Friday to get a video game.
Yeah.
Because the video games you could keep, I think it was 3 days. Movies you kept 5 days.
Yep.
Video games you could keep for 3. So she would take us every Friday to get a game for the weekend.
That's what we would do. Yeah, like my dad would go out and be like, we'd pick up a pizza, we'd get a couple movies, and I'd get a video game, and that would be like my whole weekend. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, dude. Until you got a bad video game.
And then
you
picked a bad one. It.
And then you're like, fuck, dude, I wasted my whole weekend on this piece of shit game.
Yeah.
But Mark Branch didn't worry about games. Mark Branch went with the movies. And according to the clerk from the video store, I guess he got to know Mark because he came in so often. And he said that Mark's thing was the gorier the better. He wanted the sickest, goriest, best horror slasher movies he could find, right?
I could appreciate that, yeah.
So Branch got a little obsessed with this stuff, though. And he would not just watch the movies and enjoy the movies, but he would picture himself, and he would imagine himself to be the killers.
So it's not like an erotic thing. Like he wasn't like getting off on it, was he?
No, he would just really take it overboard. They said that when he was in high school, and now he never got caught doing this, but everyone just kind of like assumed it was him.
His thing. Yeah.
He would actually call or send anonymous letters to girls in his high school telling them how he was going to kill them and dismantle them and like describing in detail what he was going to do to them.
You know, if that were now, chicks would be like, oh my God, he thinks about me like that?
I know.
I think I love him.
He's so quirky.
Oh my god, you're so dark. I'm like, eat my ass.
Yeah. And he really did think about him because actually people said that he kept files on certain girls in his school. That way when he made these calls, he could like use personal details to really freak them the fuck out.
Yeah, I love when I make a hair doll out of her. She really loves it when I give that to her, and I leave one actually under her pillow while she's sleeping.
Yeah, I make it out of her hair and sticks that I find in the woods.
I like to intertwine my pubic hair and her real hair, so it's like we're one person. It's like our souls are
How do I get her hair, you say? Oh, don't worry about how I get her hair.
Yeah, I follow her everywhere.
Wait for pieces to fall out and catch them in the wind. Things really started to ramp up October 24th, 1988. Now listen, October 24th, obviously, it's not really Halloween, but...
We're within a week. We're within 7 days.
Give me a fucking break, man.
Yeah.
Plus, you'll see, it works. It's Halloween enough.
It's spooky enough. Who cares?
On October 24th, 1988, Mark decided it was time he lived out his fantasy. He wasn't just going to pretend he was the killers in these movies. He was going to do the damn thing. So Mark dressed up like Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th movies.
One of my least favorite of all franchises.
Yeah, if we're talking big three. We're talking Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers.
Yeah.
That's definitely number 3.
Absolutely.
It just doesn't have the depth that Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween has.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep, 100%.
But I guess he was one of Mark's favorites because Mark dressed up like Jason Voorhees, got the hockey mask, got the machete. And broke into a woman's house. The woman's name was Sharon Gregory. So once he broke in the house, no one really knows how it went down. What we do know is that the next day, Sharon's twin sister found her in her bathtub. She had been stabbed multiple times in her back, her chest, her head, and her abdomen.
Fuck, man, the head, though?
Yeah, so Mark just fucking massacred her.
He probably, I can picture him doing, like, one of those cry stabs where he just doesn't know what he's doing. He's like, I just wanted to do this for so long! And was just, like, flailing and just
This isn't what I thought it would be!
I don't even know you that well, but I feel so connected to you!
Yeah, and it's funny because he didn't really know her that well. No one knows really what the relationship was between him and her or what the connection was, but they did know each other, and the reason they know that they knew each other and the reason that Mark became the prime suspect almost immediately is because Sharon had become fascinated with Mark.
Did you just throw up on yourself a little bit?
No, that was a burp.
If you're gonna spew into this.
Very Halloween theme. I'm gonna do the poltergeist throw up right into the microphone.
I like it.
The listeners will love it. The reason that they suspected him and know that they know each other is because Sharon had become fascinated with Mark's fascination with horror movies.
Fascinated with a fascination.
And she did a report for her school on Mark.
So here's my thing. So this guy is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like he's
in
weird.
deep.
He's in pretty deep. But how fucking deep is this broad? If she's like, oh man, I see how fucking crazy and deranged he is, and I'm into that. So like, how fucking alone and weird is that chick to be obsessed with his obsession? Like, find your own shit. Like, find something you're obsessed in that's not somebody else.
She found it fascinating, and she does this school paper, and they don't find the actual like essay or paper that she does, but what they do find is in her apartment, she had a psychological profile on Mark, and they believe that Mark knew she had that and wanted it back, and they think that's what caused this whole thing. So immediately, police are like, "Well, we think it's the guy who loves horror movies and has
this little queef she won't shut up about."
Right. Yeah. So they launched this manhunt for Mark Branch, but nobody could find him. Right. Again, this happened on the 24th, so Halloween comes. They still haven't found Mark. The town of Greenfield, Massachusetts is fucking terrified that there's going to be more copycat killings on Halloween, or that Mark's going to like strike again and have a sequel to his original killing. So
people just so dramatic.
They end up moving trick-or-treating to the daytime in Greenfield, Mass this year on Halloween.
I mean, that's not too far from where it is now because of how people are like, ooh, it's dark out, let's get inside. Yeah. So,
it is a shame. Like, trick-or-treating's over by 8 o'clock now. It's crazy.
Dude, like when I was a kid growing up, trick-or-treating didn't start till like 7-ish.
That shit went all night.
And I was like, I was walking in at like 10:30, and I was like 10. Yeah. I was like, oh, I'm going to eat all the Reese cups my fat ass can handle.
Exactly.
But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, where was it? So they moved trick-or-treating up. They ban Jason costumes.
Gay.
Halloween 4 was scheduled to premiere at the Greenfield movie theater. They postponed the premiere of Halloween 4.
They're not really missing out on much.
No, it wasn't a great movie.
Yeah, well, anything was better than the third one. The third one was the worst of the bunch.
Yes, yeah. That was the one that didn't even have Michael Myers in it, right?
It was just like, it was like a Curse of the Witch.
It was the Witching Hour or some shit.
Some bullshit cult that was like obsessed with him. Like, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Garbage. You have a
20% on Rotten Tomatoes. You're trash.
Yeah, get out of here. You're bringing down the legacy.
Seriously.
So yeah, this killing, it fucks up Halloween. It ruins the premiere of Halloween 4. In Mark's apartment, they find 75 slasher films, 65 killer-related books, 3 knives, a machete, and 3 goalie masks.
Just my man was a huge hockey fan. I don't think the big deal was.
I'm starting to think maybe this guy should start a fucking podcast on serial killers and paranormal, you know?
One would think. Well, I mean,
what's Mark Branch up to today, you know?
Something tells me that he's not doing so well.
No. He was found. He was found not until November. So the killing happened,
which was a day
October
later.
24th.
Well, actually, which was a week later.
Well, no, November 28th. So over a month later.
Okay.
He was found, I guess, November, like late November is the beginning of the deer hunting season, and some hunters found Mark. He was hanging from a tree in the middle of the woods.
Like he hung himself?
He hung himself. So I don't think we're gonna be able to.
Pussy.
I don't think we're gonna be able to lock him down for the podcast.
Man, that's a bitch move, man. Go out like a G. Like if you're gonna stab somebody, go out.
Jason wouldn't kill himself.
Jason would just go out silently killing people until someone murdered him.
Chain yourself to a cinder block and throw it in a lake if you want to go out. That's the way to do it.
Exactly.
You want to live out this dream.
Get pulled out of somebody's dreams into the real world and get beat up in real life like Freddy Krueger would.
That's a different movie.
I know, it's a different franchise, but I'm saying.
There's some theories, though, on maybe Mark wasn't as big of a puss as we think he is. The one theory, the most commonly accepted theory, is that, Mark killed this bitch, dressed up like Jason, and then killed himself because he didn't want to have to deal with the repercussion.
Well, yeah.
Another
once
theory.
You kill somebody, you don't really come back from that.
No, that's a tough sell. OJ did it, but
unless you kill someone and then go on a dating show.
Yeah, if I had done it,
yeah,
I would have dressed up like Chucky. Chucky's my favorite. It's my favorite movie. I'm not going to go out as Jason Voorhees. Everybody knows Jason Voorhees is the least popular of the main killers. So if I had done it,
dress up like a killer doll.
There you go. Yeah.
So what was
if I had done it, I would have put 1,000 little pins in my skin.
Oh, Pinhead.
And had some weird box that was from hell.
So what were the other theories that they had?
If I had done it, Jake, I would have put a fucking sack over my head and dressed up like a weird scarecrow and chased people around a fucking cornfield. If I had done it, I would have used someone's flesh and made some sort of weird mask, put it on my face, and chased people with a chainsaw. If I had done it, and then I would have got the cops in on it. So if I had done it, they could have found the cops, and then the cops would have brought them right back to my weird fucking psycho barn. If I had done it,
yeah. with my
didn't do it, though.
My weird incest family.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
I didn't do it, though.
I didn't do it. If I had done it, I would have...
This is going on way too long.
The other theories are, Jake, that the Greenfield media actually drove Mark to kill himself. So, if you remember, the police just kind of jumped to the conclusion that he was the one that had killed him because of the evidence that he was the one that had killed him. But
did they use a jump to conclusions, Matt?
Yes.
My question.
They must have. That's the only way to get
That's
from
the only
point
way
A
to
to point
explain
B.
it, is that they use a jump to conclusions, Matt.
But the truth of the matter is, they never got Mark in custody, so Mark was never proven guilty. He was never convicted. So a lot of people think that maybe he was innocent, and he was kind of driven to kill himself because apparently the media in Greenfield, they just like latched onto the story and started demonizing Mark. Like before he had a chance to explain himself or defend himself, they just...
You know what I think is crazy is that media in the 80s is drastically like underwhelming compared to like media in 2018. Like media in the 80s is like, oh, they probably put it in like a local newspaper and might have had it on like a local radio or local news station. Like a TV station. Now, that shit's on Twitter. That shit's on Facebook. It's on Instagram. Like, it's on it's probably on fucking Tinder, Bumble, Grindr. Yeah. Like, gay dudes trying to meet dudes who are down to fuck but then kill them at the same time. Like, that shit's
we've already
everywhere.
talked about those people.
You can't breathe in 2018 without somebody else knowing about it.
Exactly, and calling you out on it. But so think about this. Let's put ourselves in Mark's shoes, right?
Okay.
If we were going to do this murder, right?
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm not going to go back to that. If this murder had happened, and you're in this small town, and everybody knows you as this fucking creepy guy who's obsessed with slasher movies, this chick's found dead. All of a sudden, the police are looking for you. It's on the news that the fucking creepy guy from the grocery store is the one that the police are looking for.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you go into hiding? I mean, wouldn't you like...
Yeah.
I don't know.
It also depends on where his psychological state's at, because if my man's a straight up sociopath, fuck it. Like, if I had killed someone and I did it in cold blood and I was like, I enjoyed it, I'm just going to go on a flat-out killing spree. But if, like, the moment I stab someone and I'm like, oh, I immediately regret this, then, yeah, I would go into hiding. But...
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, what if you didn't do it? What if you were home eating popcorn, watching fucking Nightmare on Elm Street 6, and then all of a sudden you turn the VHS off, and they're talking about you on the fucking news, saying that they think you killed this woman, and you're looking around your apartment going, oh, shit, I just have murderers and serial killers everywhere. I have a machete.
Two things. So... Nightmare on Elm Street 6 was Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. That didn't come out until the 90s.
Ooh, all right, Jake.
So secondly, yeah, I probably would.
What are you trying to do to me here, you big red bitch? You throwing me under the bus?
I am.
Trying to make it seem like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking.
Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite franchise, so I know a little bit about Freddy Krueger.
Oh, so you're just showing off.
I am showing off.
Okay.
I'm showing out. Anyhow.
Showing out.
Yeah. If I was just sitting at home with my dick in my hand, and then, like, all of a sudden this fucking creepy weird bitch, who's weirder than I am, gets murdered, I'd be like, what? I was just sitting here listening to my Smiths record on vinyl and and like crying myself to sleep. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah, that's another way to look at it. I mean, that's probably what I would have done too. Been like, listen, you come talk to me. I didn't do it. Fucking put me in the lie detector. Whatever you got to do.
My man, haul off. Like, if you kill yourself, yeah, there's a 99% chance you did it. That's just what I think.
Yeah. Well, so there's one more theory too. The other theory is that local vigilantes actually found Mark and hung him in the woods. And this is more, I mean, this goes along with the whole horror movie theme, I guess. Like,
it's like a Frankenstein like witch hunt. Here's my thing though. If the girl had been like the daughter of the police chief or the daughter of the town mayor or something,
Right.
then yeah, I could get it. Like
The high school prom queen.
High school prom queen. But she's some fucking weird loner who's weirder than the guy who killed her.
Well,
no one I literally base everything
We're
off-
jumping to conclusions because
I've got
I don't
my
know if
mat
she
out.
was
It's
weird.
on the ground. I'm jumping to conclusions while I'm doing this podcast.
No one knows how these two were. I mean, these two could have met at the grocery store. He could have been like, yeah, I love these horror movies. And she could have been like, that's a good fucking theory to look into for my psychology class at school. You mind if I do a thing on you?
She probably secretly just wanted him to do her. She's probably like in love.
The grocery store clerk.
I don't know. People just.
There's nothing wrong with being a grocery store clerk, Jake.
You're out here shaming everyone that works at ShopRite. I know that's what you're doing right now.
I wouldn't do that.
No, I wouldn't do that. No.
So anyway, the reason that there's, some conspiracists who think that maybe he was hung by vigilantes is because actually people who are close to the case have said that the way Mark was hanging in the woods, the way he had been hung, wouldn't have been possible for him to do without the help of someone else.
See, now that makes me think like that could be possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
It all
so I don't know,
depends. It
man.
all depends.
What
on
do you think?
I mean, it's either he just bitched out and killed himself, or maybe her dad found out and was like, "You killed my daughter," and then fucking hung
The police chief?
Could have been the police chief. Could have been anybody.
No, her dad is the police chief, right?
There it is.
Isn't that what you said?
He wanted street justice for his daughter being stabbed by a fucking retard. And
what?
Somebody with mental disabilities or whatever. I don't know what you're going to say. Anyhow, the dude was a fucking weirdo and just decided to stab her like a drunk prom date, just flailing around with his arm with a knife in his hand.
Do you think that I was going to reprimand you for saying retard?
I thought I reprimanded myself. I was like, how dare you? How
dare you, Jake?
How dare you, Jake, internally? How dare you say that out loud?
Yeah. I don't know, but anyway, that's it. That's the end of the story. He was dead in the woods. She's dead from being killed by Jason Voorhees. That would be a terrifying way to go if you were like, what would you do right now if somebody broke into your house dressed like Jason Voorhees?
Honestly, if it were happening right now while I'm recording, you'd probably hear the gayest scream come out of me. Like it would be awful.
Are you okay?
I'm great. I'm great.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's the end of that story. That's all I got.
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's Halloweenish.
Yeah, no, I mean it's revolves around what we're talking about. Sorry, my story didn't have enough meat on the bones. I was just trying to hit you with some facts.
No, the meat was there. I like that story.
You dressed yours up pretty well. Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. It sucks that kid was a real bitch.
Wait, which kid?
The fucking branch guy.
I know. I would have liked for him to live, gone to trial, beaten the charges, and then written a book.
No, this is what I would have liked.
If I had done it.
In the spirit of Halloween, I would have liked if in November 20th when they found him hanging, these hunters find him.
28th.
November 28th. They find him.
Come on, dude. The beginning of hunting season.
They notify local...
You know when hunting season starts?
I'm sorry. Let me get my tin of skull out and throw on some camo equipment. Fuck yeah, America! Fuck yeah!
Get a deer stand. Pour a little deer pee in your mouth.
I don't know what to do. I'm just like, I'll go and I'll stand there and drink beer the whole day. I don't hunt.
Yeah.
I'm more of a fisherman.
You're the hunted.
I am the hunted. I am. I'm a slow-moving, large-bodied male. Yeah, I am the hunted. I would have liked if they saw him hanging, they went to go notify local authorities, they came back, and he was gone. And the fucking noose was there, and that was it. And that was like...
That's the
and then
sequel.
Fade to black. And I'll be like,
yes,
fuck yeah, he's coming back.
That's the setup. He's coming back. We're getting another one.
And then
you think he was still dressed up like Jason Voorhees when they found him?
God, that would have been real sad.
That would have been fucking terrifying for the hunters.
Yeah, they'd be like, whoa! Yeah, because, yeah. That would have been pretty terrifying.
All right, listen, that's going to be it for this episode, I think. That's
right.
our little Halloween special.
A little extra for you guys there.
Yeah, and I want to give a heads up. We're going to release another episode tomorrow. If you're listening to this, there will be another episode tomorrow, but it's not going to be a normal episode like the other episodes have been. This is actually going to be a little over a year ago for another project I was working on. I did this like little audio documentary about this house, this haunted house that my mom lived in when we were growing up, and I'm going to re-release that onto the Depths feed. So that's what you're going to get. I think it's pretty cool. It's interesting, but it's way different than this. So don't expect a normal Depths episode.
There will be no witty banter.
No, there's no banter. But it's enjoyable. Give it a shot. I promise you'll love it.
I'm into it.
All right.
Yeah, this is Jake Lotz on the gram. My man Paul Breeden, he's Breeden Nuclear.
Yes.
We have, the Depths Podcast on Instagram, the Depths Podcast at Gmail for email.
It's at the Depths Cast
on the Instagram. Depths Cast, my mistake.
You can keep up with the episodes there. We'll post every time there's a new episode. That way you don't miss one. But really, you shouldn't miss them because all you got to do is hit that subscribe button and then rate and review. Give us 5 stars. You don't have to do that. It'll still be there if you give the 5 stars or not. But
we are on all music streaming platforms. We're on the Apple Podcast app. We're on Spotify.
Yep.
Are we still on YouTube?
We are on YouTube.
We're on fucking YouTube, people.
We're on Pure Volume.
Fuck yeah. We're on LimeWire.
Napster.
FrostWire, too. After LimeWire died.
We are, the new Marilyn Manson album, if you listen past the last track and wait for 45 minutes, our shit will kick in. It's like a secret hidden thing we worked out with Marilyn. That was a tricky negotiation. He wouldn't stop sucking his own dick and talking about how his rib was missing. It was fucking weird.
Super weird. Anyhow,
love you, Marilyn.
Thanks for some shit, and we'll talk to you guys later.